Welcome to week 2 of EDU570. Each week in the syllabus, there are key ideas to keep in mind when completing your assignments. For this week, think about what does it mean to have integrity. Integrity is defined as basically being honest. What does that look like as an administrator? How transparent and honest can you actually be at one time? Besides being honest and transparent, keep in mind ways to improve. If you are always honest about things that happen as they relate to work, what does that look like? Taking ownership makes you grow, makes you a better problem solver. Keeping all of this in mind, think about your membership in a changing political and academic landscape. You must be continually striving to contribute to the betterment of the community, be that as a community of ESE students or in a building of teachers. As you continue to grow as an ethical leader, you will eventually plateau to a place of experience and transcendence where folks come to you for guidance as that leader. Keep in mind how all of the components of the code of ethics will make you a better leader, not just words on a paper, but living as an ethical leader and being a model that others strive to be. In Chapter 2, we talk about the multiple ethical paradigms. To begin, we'll start with the ethic of care. The ethic of care is sometimes tied to the stereotypical female role, the nurturer, the emotional leader. This is taking in all sides and doing what is right for the child. As a leader, in 99% of situations, this will be in balance with the other paradigms, but the ethic of care can be in conflict, and an example of that is with the ethic of justice, or considering the law. For example, giving the Florida Standards Alternate Assessment, that is the assessment given to severely disabled students. If we give that assessment knowing that the student will not be able to perform on it, and then we know that we have to give the test because the state says so, only to later waive the result entirely as it is not an accurate measure, is something that is a very difficult thing to do because we know that it's a bad measure, so why are we even doing it? It's not right for the child. So that's where there's that notion of a disconnect between those two paradigms. The next paradigm, the ethic of profession, is what we are expected to do as educators. We are held to a different standard. A simple way to think of this is a teacher has a different professional code than, say, like a bartender. There are different allowances and expectations of behavior for teachers and administrators in education. The ethic of justice is next, and basically it's quite simple to remember. The laws that govern us as educators and living within those confines. The ethic of care can be in conflict with the ethic of justice, like I mentioned earlier, which is traditionally non-emotional. These are yes-no answers. Next is the ethic of critique. The ethic of critique looks into the ethic of justice to highlight and rethink concepts. We are pushed to reframe our thinking in today's changing world. What was once considered standard operating procedure, or the way it is now no longer acceptable. Being able to break new ground. Going and making changes to things that you know need to be changed. These paradigms are never siloed. They are happening simultaneously and layered across content and staff and schools across the district. Navigating the landscape becomes ever so important. Having a sense of these paradigms will provide you a better perspective into the why things are happening. For your assignment this week, this is basically a worksheet that reads like a paper. There are 3 parts, Part A, B, and then the core value statement. The questions are pretty self-explanatory, so just follow along and make sure you answer all of them and have support along the way. Do not forget to put this and package it as a paper. Include the Code of Integrity explanation and the rubric. As I explained earlier in an email, if you do not include a rubric with your assignments, I am technically not allowed to grade your work. So it's very important that even if you're downloading this worksheet, you need to submit this as a packaged paper, which I sent you examples of how to do that. After going through your readings for this week, thinking about the ethical paradigms, please think about which paradigm is most useful to your current situation. I look forward to reading your posts for this week.